So we all know of a company called Morris. They did the Morris Mini Traveller, which was covered earlier this month, and also this thing, the Morris Minor. However, they decided to take one of these and put a shed on it. No, I'm not joking. This is the Morris Traveller, which you can get for 20 points of Spring of Series 14. So taking a look at the stats, this thing has 29 horsepower, 40 foot-pounds of torque, it weighs 1,757 pounds, and has a displacement of 0.80 litres. Wow, okay. And it looks a bit like this. From the front it looks just like your average, but then we get to the side and we see the same pattern that we've seen with cars all the way through this series, apart from the first one. But we have got a lot of wood, more wood, and even more wood. Going to the inside, it looks just like a regular Morris, except this thing is actually right-hand drive now in this game, hooray! And it was also brought over from the previous game, Forza Horizon 4. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it. So one thing I figured about this thing is it is insanely slow. Anyway, going to conversions, we have a chance for engine swaps. We have a inline 4 motorbike engine, and we also have a 1.6 litre inline 4 turbo rally. We'll come back to both of these in just a little bit, but for now I'm definitely going to go ahead and throw a turbo on this thing, because my gosh, it is going to need it. We have some options for aero and appearance. We can either put a piece of plastic on it or take the chrome off entirely, and for the back, what can we do? We can put a piece of plastic on the roof. Wonderful! So what I'm going to go ahead and do is probably build this thing up to the top of B class and then go and take it racing. Alright, how low can we go with this thing? Oh, yep, that's low. So taking a look at the paint, we've got nothing for advanced like usual, but we have just 3 different colours. We've got a green, we have a red, actually no, scratch that, we have 4, I'm blind. We also have a black and a very nice sort of blue grey, silver grey, some form of grey. Now I've gotten lucky and seen a couple of the Morris Minors a few times, but I've definitely not seen the Morris Traveller. Would absolutely love to see one of these in person. And away we go. We've got a few interesting vehicles. We also have a GMC Vandura back there. This thing had a whole heap of wheel spin out of first gear, and I think we've got the mystery machine apparently over here too. But we are up at the top of B class, rear wheel drive, 200 and something brake horsepower, and let's go ahead and see how... Oh, that is not off to a good start. Say 2, let's go ahead and see how far I can get, hopefully not missing the checkpoint this time. There we go. Hopefully we can try and make up a few spaces before the end of this race. And we have a budget Coca-Cola lorry. In fact, this time they've just had to use the transit. And on the brakes, thankfully we replaced those. We replaced the brakes from the 50s with something modern, but we've still not been able to catch up to the Coca-Cola van, the other transit van, and I don't even know what's up at the front here, but hopefully we might try and get a space up here, maybe if we go to the inside. No, this thing is very, very wayward. Wow, okay, maybe not. Maybe you can't. Oh wait, the van's had an issue. The van's had an issue. Can we get past the van on... Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Why is this thing so drifty? I didn't even build it to be drifty. Come on, there's a gap. There's a gap. Yes, it's third. We've actually got a podium this time. Cool. Can we try and get past the next transit on these very twisty turns? There's only really 2 more towards the end of the finish line, and I don't think we're going to be able to get past anybody. We might have to settle for a third. And drifty across the line. This thing is only able to keep itself in a 3rd place. Well, I mean, to be fair, for the fact it's from the 50s, competing with stuff against, well, I don't even know what, stuff from early 2000s, 2010s, and yeah, I still think it did okay. Could have done much better. Could have done so much better. Well, we tried. So going back to conversion, we'll go ahead and swap in that turbo rally. We'll go ahead and make this thing all-wheel drive, which immediately drives our launch up to a 10, which is, you know, I'll take that. Let's go ahead and swap on some drag tyres. Wait, do we have the white walls? We have white walls, that's cool. But for now, we're going to go with drag tyres and making them just a little bit wider. More power? More power. And we'll just go ahead and move our gears a little bit. So it turns out putting off-road suspension on this wasn't the greatest idea, because if I wanted to build a drag build, I've just built a wheelie build instead. Anyway, let's go ahead and line this thing up. And we are going to go ahead and floor it and see, do we get... Oh my... look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, dear me. Right, let's go ahead and see. Do we actually get a decent speed to the camera? Probably not. This thing's really light, but the engine is not very powerful. Just 162. Ooh, that is not good at all. The fact I can do this, however, definitely is. So for now, I think we're going to go ahead and just put this back down onto race springs, onto some road tyres, and then we're going to go ahead and give this thing a little bit of a top speed run. So chaotic wheelie build out of the way, let's go ahead and see what this thing can do for the top speed on the motorway, through the speed zone, through the downhill, and also through our little local speed camera. Let's go! And out of the speed zone at 180.25 miles an hour, we've now got the downhill and the speed camera to go. But I've got a feeling we might already have hit our top speed, but well, let's go and find out if it is. Okay, there's our friendly little speed camera, 182.65. To the downhill, we do get a few extra miles now. We're going out to 186 down here, but I've got a feeling that that is definitely this thing's limit. There's plenty of bonnet hood space there, so I reckon we could have got a bigger engine in this thing, but oh well, I guess that is what Forza just decided was enough for this thing? I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and take it drifting. Okay, back to rear wheel drive we go, and onto our drift tyres. Wonderful! Okay, so throwing a few upgrades to this thing, let's go ahead and see if we can make it through here without us spinning out, which we did just on a previous take. It didn't quite make the cut because it actually failed the drift zone. Let's go ahead and see 32,737 points. Not too bad at all, but let's go ahead and see if this thing can get any better going back the other way. Hopefully it can, without spinning out or crashing into a wall or giving me even more grief than the previous version of this thing did. But let's go ahead and see. We're off to a very terrible start already, just spending half our time over in the dirt. But can we make it through here? Oh, wow. Oh, that is horrible. Yeah, no, that was awful. So I guess if you want something as a little bit of a show car, or as just something to look good from like the older 50s, 60s era, then definitely pick this thing up. But if you want to actually drift it or race it or do whatever, yeah, maybe leave that to the previous Morris from a couple of weeks ago, or just use a different car entirely. But yeah, that is where I'm going to go ahead and leave this video. It's a cool little vehicle, and you can do some accidental wheelies with it, but other than that, yeah, it's not great, surprisingly. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Let me know what you think of this thing in the comments, and that'll be me for this video. Thank you for watching. Tag out. Right, and go to deal with this car accordingly.